This is our ginkgo tree that we started, I don't know when, maybe 2 to 3 years ago. And I've been checking from time to time, but it hasn't really looked too promising. So I thought, well, today we'll find out for sure whether it's made it or not, and see what happens. Well, it looks like good news. It's trying to start. So you could see the roots coming on, but not enough to support the top. So what I'm going to have to do is to reapply soil and get it to get more vigorous. So you can see that it did start to root. I just got to get more soil on it and keep trying. So even with these number of years, it still wasn't enough. But at least it's not a failure. So I'll go ahead and put some more soil on it and then patiently wait. As I look at this date that I put on, it's been 3 years, and that's all we have. But once again, it's better than a failure, so I'll go ahead and do some more. So it's been 3 years since I started, but at least it's not a failure, so I'll keep trying. Well, it's not real pretty, but it should work. I put fresh soil, and I put it a little deeper this time. I guess what happened was it kept washing out. But now that we know that it's somewhat successful, I'll keep trying. So this project will take between 4 and 5 years to accomplish. So once again, this was the ginkgo that we started 3 years ago, and it was partially successful. So if nothing else, it'll teach patience. This is the Zelkova that we started a few years ago. It's been 2 or 3 years. I wrote the date down, but it washed off, so it might have been 3. But it's about time to check to see if this has been a success. Well, it's like Christmas. Open up the present and see what we get. Cut everything loose. And see what we got. And it's a failure. Nothing. So all this waiting for nothing. So I'll see. And basically nothing happened. Although I tried to callus a little bit, but it healed itself. It might be that I was not aggressive to cut into the cambium layer, and that's usually what happens, or this is one of those varieties that don't work, which seems strange. Since this is a close cousin of the Chinese elm, it should have been a snap. But I kept wondering why, when I kept giving that little finger test, that it wasn't being solid root. So I'm not sure what the reason for the failure, but it did fail. So I'll go back to my original plan, which is to cut across here. and cut across here. That's it. And one more cut across here. Ooh, what a sad looking tree. If you remember why we started this, it was this part here. It looked good, but from the overall presentation, there was a bulge. So that in this part, in relation to the rest, there was a reverse taper or a fattening of the area. So if we got it to root here, then it would have been fine. And I could have either cut here, but hey, it's already too late now. But at least it was worth a try. Why it failed, not sure, but generally it's not being aggressive enough to cut across. Okay, checking very closely, I used the tourniquet, there's a wire in here, and tied it, and then peeled off the bark. But it's very apparent that it did heal itself. There was the two techniques, which according to most of the books, one or the other should work. So I did both, but it didn't work. But the tourniquet or the wire, it did help to make this bulge. And if it had rooted, then it would have had a good root flare. So it was starting to work, but I guess this part was not aggressively enough removed, so it healed itself. Now, maybe what I should have done was use a very thick wire instead of the thinner one. Who knows? But anyway, after more than 2 years, possibly 3, it failed, mainly because the ability to heal itself not be interrupted. So let's check this off as another experience of failed experiment. So the only thing to do is to keep trying and hope in the future it'll work. But this one, being the Zelkova, it did not work this time.